Is it time to play the freshman? Stick around. Let's talk about it. This is Way Offsides. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. No time to waste. Going to do a little short video for you. We've talked about this before in our YouTube short series, but I want to, before we even get started, emphasize this is pure speculation, okay? However, it looks like potentially there could be a little bit of smoke around Alabama utilizing true freshman running back AK Deer. Saturday, we all know Alabama's running football. They've needed a spark per se. I don't know that AK Deer provides that spark. I don't know if playing him would potentially be necessarily for the running game. They may have some packages in terms of split screens, getting him out in the flat, things like that. He's very, very athletic, very, very quick. His name's not Deer for no reason at all. But this is all coming off of speculation. Yesterday, AK posted a photo to social media of him catching the ball. I think it was during the ULM game, out of the backfield, and he just posted the words "update." A lot of folks were like, "What?" A lot of opposing fan bases are taking it as a potential like transfer post. That's not what it is. I'm almost positive. But Alabama fans are taking it as that he's going to get some playing time this weekend. Well, Kalen DeBoer was asked about that today, the day after the post, and Kalen DeBoer said, "Hey, look, he's doing the right things. He's getting better, and sooner rather than later, he's going to play some important football for us." I am paraphrasing, and I don't have that quote exactly right, but basically he hinted that, yes, AK Deer is likely in line to get some playing time at some point, and that he's going to be instrumental when it comes. You start connecting dots, and it looks like Alabama could potentially utilize him. Now, AK, I think he's only had snaps in 2 games this year, so he could play a little bit and still keep his red shirt. However, I think you got to ask if he comes in and has some success, especially if they do try to run him. I will say, just kind of breaking down Alabama's offensive line and looking at the run game and the problems. Some of the problems is running back vision, cutting the wrong way, things like that, not reading the hole correctly. So if AK comes in and he provides that spark, then maybe you do consider burning it. You do have Xavier Crowell coming in, and I'm sure Alabama's going to get a solid guy in their next recruiting class. So I just feel like, why not at this point? Even if a new running back isn't going to give you the spark, why not at least try? Shout out Jam Miller all day long. We love you. We appreciate you. But for the sake of the team, at some point in time, you got to try something else. And maybe AK Deer is that something else. Maybe that is what we're going to see Saturday. Maybe it's something completely different than what we're thinking. They're going to use him in a different way in combination with Jam Miller. I personally think a combination of a guy like AK Deer, because of his speed and athleticism, he's very quick and shifty. Reminds me a lot of Kenyon Drake, alongside a Daniel Hill, that big bruising running back. This could potentially open some things up for Alabama. Now, I do expect Alabama's offensive line to play better against Oklahoma. Oklahoma does have the best defensive front. They're probably going to play all season, but Alabama has tended to get up for the big games, right? It's the games that they're not supposed to win that they've struggled in. So, I expect Alabama's offensive line to play much better this week than it did last week. We've seen that this season already. They played terribly in week 1, looked okay the next couple of weeks, and then take a bye week and go to Georgia, and they look fantastic. I kind of expect the same philosophy, same thing to happen here. But if that is what happens and AK Deer does get the carries, the staff will then have to, make a decision regarding his red shirt. Either way, Alabama's stable is pretty deep. So you have to consider that, let's say AK Deer does come in and make a name for himself. You're going to lose a couple of guys, probably Richard Young. You might lose Daniel Hill, might lose Kevin Riley. We'll see. As Jam Miller leaves this year too. But yeah, so that's what everybody's talking about. That's why everybody's talking about AK Deer right now. It started with a cryptic post, and then it started with not necessarily a reaffirmation by Kalen DeBoer that he was going to play, but some hint, a vague hint. And this is pure speculation. Kalen DeBoer may have just been using coach speak. Hey, he's good. He's going to play for us sooner or later. Later could be next season, sooner it could be the start of next season. we don't know. But I know a lot of Alabama fans, a lot of analysts, a lot of people who make a living talking about Alabama football are of the mindset, why not give it a try and see if it works? Especially if Alabama's going to do what I said and kind of go quick for a couple of drives there, try to keep that Oklahoma defense on their heels. A guy like A.K. Deere could be a spark that they would definitely need. And it gives Ty Simpson another really, really lethal weapon out of the backfield. Like I said, if they want to use split screens or anything like that. So we'll see, I guess. We'll see what happens on Saturday if they use him or not. I think a lot of people will be watching that offensive line. They'll be watching those running backs because Alabama's got to figure something out, even if they scrape by or even if they beat Oklahoma handedly at some time in the future, that running game is going to get them. And so they've got to get something figured out, whether it's supplemental or be able to actually run the ball. So tell me first and foremost what you think the problems are in the comment section below. Do you think A.K. Deere gets to play significantly against Oklahoma? Not in cleanup duty, not because Alabama's getting blown out. Tell me, does he get significant snaps? If you don't want to answer either one of those, just leave a big Roll Tide and let me know where you're watching from. Make sure you subscribe while you're there. Thanks for hanging out with me. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.